This is the Weather Xtreme video, the morning edition for Thursday, March 31st. I'm James Spann. We have the dual threat of flash flooding and severe storms over about the next 24 hours. A lot to talk about, so let's just go right to it. That's the synoptic scale look, the upper air look, 500 millibars, water vapor satellite view. You see a complex trough lifting out of the western states. That was the radar early this morning at 5:08. A big massive rain along and west of Interstate 65. This is round one. This is the morning massive storms we'll deal with, and the main threat with this will be from heavy rain and flooding. The severe weather threat this morning is pretty low, but later today that will change. Starting off the day in the 60s, very mild and humid, Birmingham 67. We could approach 80 today if we get the break in the rain in the middle of the days we expect, and if the sun breaks out for a while. Very cold air in the western states. Nights much colder this weekend. We could see some 30s in here Sunday morning. Growers beware. Flash flood watch for basically all of Alabama. The darker green there, except for the southeastern tip of the state. Notice a lot of counties under flash flood warnings. Those maroon-colored counties around Memphis and down through West Mississippi and back into Arkansas. There's a tornado watch until 9 this morning for parts of South Mississippi and southeast Louisiana. But again, we've got no severe weather up here on our end of the state. We don't expect any this morning. But later today and tonight, that will probably change. This is the day one convective outlook. A risk of severe weather from the Gulf Coast up to Chicago and Detroit. You can see the enhanced risk over North Mississippi, North Alabama, Middle and West Tennessee. And you can see we have that hatched area through North Alabama, and that's where significant severe weather is possible, including maybe a strong tornado or two. But these are the tornado probabilities. That means there's a 10% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point in that enhanced risk. In Alabama, the enhanced risk is basically along and north of Interstate 59, Tuscaloosa to Birmingham to Gadsden. The standard risk is yellow, and that runs all the way down to Mobile and Geneva and Eufaula, and then a marginal risk at Dothan. And understand, a tornado is possible statewide, but maybe the chance of a strong tornado is going to be up in that enhanced risk zone. And then tomorrow, the risk shifts down basically into South Alabama. There's a standard slight risk south of a line from Demopolis to Calera to Wedowee. And by midday, the risk will be down over South Alabama as dry air works into the northern counties. This is the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Tuesday morning of next week, and all of this will be today and tomorrow. Pretty big numbers. Average amounts between 2 and 3 inches. Some spots may be approaching 4 inches. And this is 24-hour rain coming off the RPM model, which is one we have access to at the television station. This is printing some pretty big numbers for Gadsden, and then a very sharp gradient down to Tuscaloosa and Anniston. And I'm not sure it works out that way. I think everybody's going to get a big soaking, but clearly that's a sign that there could be a strip of very heavy rain somewhere around here. So, model fans, here we go. This is the GFS at 1 o'clock today, the 06Z run. There's your dynamic support approaching from the west. The surface low is north of Detroit, and obviously a very soupy air mass. So this is the HER model at 2 o'clock today, and you can see at that point there should be a break. The morning storm's onto the east, and if we get the break and if the sun breaks out, we'll be close to 80 today, and dew point should be well up in the 60s, making for a volatile air mass. So let's go on to, let's just pick it at 9 o'clock tonight. What do you say? So this is the dynamic support tonight at 9 o'clock, and this is the low-level jet, 5,000 feet off the ground, and those numbers ramp up to over 50 knots. The low-level jet weakens during the day, but it strengthens again tonight. This is a look at the HRRR. This is valid at 6 o'clock, and you can see new storms developing. And if it works out exactly that way or not, the radar might look that way, but it's a possibility. And there's a little inconsistency in the timing of round 2. The HER is faster, the NAM is slower, and the truth is probably somewhere in between. But we're going to open up the window about 4 o'clock today. This is the instability, the surface-based CAPE at 8 o'clock tonight, coming off the NAM. And you can see the numbers exceed 2,000 joules per kilogram up there across North Alabama, up in that enhanced risk zone. Storm relative helicity values are very high. This is the 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. And that certainly supports rotating updrafts and tornadoes. And finally, the STP, the significant tornado parameter, the thing is maxed out at 5.8 units. But again, clearly you can see that the idea is that the higher chance of tornadoes, and maybe a strong tornado, will be over northeast Mississippi and north and northwest Alabama, along and north of Interstate 59, in that enhanced risk zone. And then this is the NAM at 4 o'clock, and things are winding down. So, again, we're going to just open up this big 12-hour window in terms of severe weather. And understand, this morning we got the soaking rain. The flooding is the main problem this morning. But in terms of severe storms, the main risk beginning about 4 o'clock today through 4 a.m. tomorrow. All modes of severe weather possible: large hail, damaging wind, a few tornadoes. And again, in the enhanced risk, there might be a strong tornado. Kind of depends on how the destabilization process works out after the morning batch of storms. So keep an eye on forecast today, and be sure and tell your friends and neighbors that there's a chance of severe weather tonight and maybe even to the overnight hours. And be sure they can get warnings. And the sirens, that's not it. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, severe weather risk down into South Alabama. We'll forecast gradual clearing. It's going to be a slow process for North Alabama, highs in the 70s. And then Saturday, we get into a cooler air mass. We start the day in the 40s. The high will be in the 60s, although the NAM's got a high of only 57. I think that might be a little bit too cool. We'll probably see a high in the low to mid-60s with a good stiff north breeze there with a pretty tight gradient. And then Sunday will be a sunny day. And again, the high will be in the 60s. Now, Sunday morning's going to be pretty cold here. You can see upper 30s, mid to upper 30s. And clearly, I think, for the colder valleys, they could make a run at freezing and some frost. So growers, beware. Monday, a nice day, will be around 70. Tuesday, a little cooler air drops in, kind of a secondary surge. Highs go back in the 60s. And then Wednesday, we're dry and mild with low 70s. Deep surface low is to the southeast of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And look at this. This is a week from today, Thursday, April 7th, and all of a sudden a big old trough shows up here with a surge of pretty chilly air dropping down the pike. The cold front would come through maybe in dry fashion. There's hardly any moisture. Maybe a shower Wednesday night, but I'd say it's not likely. And then look at projected lows here coming off the GFS by Friday morning, April 8th. In 8 days, it's showing 31 for Birmingham, 20s up in the Tennessee Valley. And you know what I'm going to say? Never plant till April 15th. I'm not saying this will happen. This is kind of out there in the land of voodoo. This could change easily, but again, just growers, be aware of that idea that's on the table. And this is the end of the forecast period, Saturday, April 9th. Trough rotates out. We're dry and very pleasant. Quick peek at the anomalies, April 7th through April 13th. Temperatures here should be close to average. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here by 4 o'clock this afternoon, if the weather allows. And if you can't catch us this evening on the live stream or on television, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.